as an officer of the court, which of those...
I'm not,
please, if
no,
I may-
no, I will not give you time when you seem not to understand me. I am saying, I'm not interested in the nitty-gritty of what falls under the Section 35 bucket. I am saying, I'm not interested in the nitty-gritty of what falls under the Section 35 bucket. I'm not interested in that nitty-gritty. I'm looking at the broader question of, on those issues on which there is no question whatsoever, which can be dealt with by this commission, and you've agreed that there are. On those questions, why can't those questions be heard before the criminal process has been finalized? Whether, even accepting, as you argue, that there are some issues coming out of the plea deal which fall under the Section 35 basket. Even accepting that, you have said there are some which do not fall under that basket. And my focus is only on those aspects that do not fall under that basket. So clearly, what you've just said about the plea deal is irrelevant to my question.
With the greatest of respect, it's not irrelevant, Chairperson, because I cannot at this point in all, as an officer of the court, distinguish between what we can answer and what we can't answer. We can only say to you, the only things...
You will never understand me. Please go on to your next point.
No, I do understand you quite clearly. The only issues that my client can answer, Chairperson, at this point, that we say that we form common cause on is who he doesn't know on the list of the 10-6. The rest of the issues, if I may please, the rest of the issues, I cannot say to you, I am prepared to answer this because I don't know if I
have not asked you that. You are trying to answer a question which I've not asked you. I've not asked you that question. I have simply not asked you that question. I am asking you a general question. It has nothing to do with specifics, and that general question is, on those issues on which there is no question whatsoever, those issues, I will accept for a moment, for purposes of this debate, that there are plea deal issues that fall under the Section 35 basket, and which therefore will not apply to my general question.
I've been seen yesterday going out for lunch at a shopping centre in the Western Cape. The two reports corroborated the same details. They seem to be independent of one another. And they've now been confirmed by eyewitnesses at that shopping centre, who we have independently contacted. So we now have it from multiple different sources that someone who seemed very much to be Mr. Karim arrived at the shopping centre with an entourage, went into Woolworths before going off to have a late lunch at a restaurant in the shopping centre.
Fresh controversy unfolded at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry on Wednesday after claims emerged that Northwest businessman Suleiman Karim was seen shopping at a Woolworths store in the Western Cape, while citing ill health as the reason for missing his scheduled testimony. The allegations were raised by evidence leader Advocate Matthew Chaskalson during proceedings following the postponed appearance of Vusimuzi Ket Matlala. According to Chaskalson, two independent whistleblowers separately reported seeing Karim at a shopping center where he was allegedly shopping and later having lunch. In light of the claims, Chaskalson asked the commission to subpoena Karim's treating doctors and obtain his medical records to determine whether his reported medical condition was consistent with his inability to testify. He further revealed that the commission is awaiting CCTV footage from both the shopping center and Woolies in an effort to verify the allegations. The claims surfaced as Karim once again failed to appear before the commission, with his legal team maintaining that he remains medically unfit to participate. While acknowledging that a medical certificate had been submitted, Chaskalson argued that the document explained Karim's absence but did not explicitly state that he was medically incapable of answering questions from the commission. He also reminded the inquiry that Karim had previously failed to appear after receiving a notice to testify on 17 June. In addition, the commission is still awaiting an affidavit responding to several outstanding questions. Beyond Karim's absence, Chaskalson told the commission that financial statements relating to Karim-linked companies Ziggy, Tasmika and Tamiz have yet to be provided. He noted that the businesses had received millions of rand, making the requested financial records important to the Commission's investigation. Karim's legal representative, Advocate Kemal Premhind, strongly disputed the allegations, insisting his client is currently receiving treatment in hospital. He said, "My client is in the hospital," adding that a medical specialist had already explained why Karim was unable to participate in the proceedings. He cautioned the Commission against relying on unverified information from whistleblowers, arguing that such claims could unfairly harm his client's reputation before they had been properly investigated. Prem Hind also said he had only become aware of the allegations on Wednesday, leaving him with no opportunity to consult Karim before the issue was raised during the hearing. The Commission postponed the matter until Friday, when Prem Hind indicated that Karim's legal team will also submit an in-camera application for the Commission's consideration. Meanwhile, Vusi Musiket Matlala, an alleged crime mastermind linked to an irregular awarded 228 million rand SAPS Health and Wellness tender to his company Medicare 24 Tshwane District, is not the central crime figure he is portrayed to be. The view was presented by Matlala's lawyer, Advocate Annelien van der Heever, before the Matlanga Commission of Inquiry. Van der Heever told the commission that based on her interactions with Matlala, the idea of him being a mastermind is a fallacy. In an application to postpone Matlala's testimony, she argued that Matlala's appearance before his criminal trial on Monday could prejudice his right to a fair hearing in connection with an attempted murder case involving his ex-girlfriend, Tebogo Tobejane. She further submitted that she required access to the negotiation notes pertaining to Matlala's now collapsed plea agreement with the Independent Directorate Against Corruption to assist him in preparing a statement for the Commission within 2 weeks. She argued that it was not in the Commission's interest to receive piecemeal answers from Matlala. Following the back and forth debate with the Commission on the application, the parties agreed to postpone Matlala's testimony to September 1. He is expected to file his statement on or before July 26. Van der Heever noted that proceedings were being widely watched and raised concerns that questioning, especially by the evidence leader, could create a perception of guilt. She said she wanted Matlala to go into his criminal trial on Monday without baggage. She said Matlala had the right to be presumed innocent. She further requested access to recordings that previous witnesses had referred to during their testimony, saying they were needed to prepare Matlala's statement. In reaction to Van der Heever's earlier argument, Co-Commissioner Advocate Sisi Baloyi sought clarity on whether Matlala's legal team will not allow him to make a statement until they received material from IDEC, in case he was later confronted with inconsistent statements. Baloyi said it is the position that you are adopting that until you have received the IDEC material that led to the now collapsed plea deal, Mr. Matlala will not be in a position to file a statement to the Commission, and Mr. Matlala is not in a position to testify before the Commission. Van der Heever answered and said, "Of course, that is my position at this point in time because I am ethically bound to act in that manner. I cannot think of any other counsel that would act differently than I do. This is not an impediment because I actually believe we can get the information relatively quickly." Justice Mboiseni Mahlanga pushed back, arguing that Matlala's plea deal with IDEC should not hinder proceedings at the Commission. What's your take on this one, people? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe for more news.